Hi everyone and welcome. My name is Murray Swanston and I'm an AWS Technical Account Manager based in Melbourne, Australia. Today we'll be talking about some announcements and releases that happened at AWS reInvent 2020 with the major focus on what's most relevant for IT managers. We'll be breaking it out into two areas. That will be management and infrastructure. At the end of each area, we will have two questions, and the attendee who answers the question correctly and quickest will win a $50 Amazon voucher. So for those who are watching the broadcast post-event, sorry you missed out this time, but make sure you join next time live. Also, as AWS is a data-driven company, we would love your feedback through the Slido survey. So I will be putting that link up later in this presentation. So if you can find the time to fill out that survey, that would be fantastic. So today I have with me Jerry Chen, Rishi Singla, Mustafa Mabrook, and Angela Chow. Rishi will be taking on the management section, and Jerry will be taking on the infrastructure section. Mustafa and Angela will be taking any questions in the chat. In the last couple of years with AWS, speaking with my customers and also prior to AWS, talking to IT professionals and IT managers, I found a number of common themes. One being operations. So you need your team to be innovators and strategic thinkers, and removing undifferentiated heavy lifting from your operations will allow this to happen. Securing what's in the cloud is of utmost importance. So knowing what's going on and what needs attention is key to reducing risks. You need your team to be proactive and prevent issues from occurring, or at the very least, reduce that impact to a minor blip on the radar. So broad observability is key to this. You need your critical workloads to be performant to ensure the best possible end user experience and get things done as quickly and efficiently as possible. You also need your critical workloads to be highly available and resilient to minimize any downtime to your customers and to your business. Controlling and optimizing costs will allow you to reinvest into remediation work and meaningful projects and initiatives for your customers. And lastly, something that's been around for a little while but getting a lot more focused these days is sustainability. So you can need to work towards your company's sustainability targets and KPIs, and maybe help us humans last a little longer on this planet. So with that, I will hand over to Rishi to talk to you about management. Thank you, Rishi.
Hi everyone, thanks Murray. So my name is Rishi Singla. I am working as a technical account manager at AWS, and I'm going to talk about today the management section from the reInvent recap 2020. And what we're going to cover today, some of the new features coming on the systems manager. Apart from that, we'll also see on the cost and on the security front what's new offered in this reInvent. So the first thing that I would like to talk about here is AWS Systems Manager, Change Manager. So to help make operations management as easy and efficient as possible, we have AWS Systems Manager. Systems Manager is a fully managed service that helps customers safely manage and operate their IT infrastructure at scale. AWS has announced Change Manager, a new change management feature of AWS Systems Manager. Change Manager simplifies the way that you can request, approve, implement, and report on operational changes to your application, configuration, and infrastructure on AWS and on premises. The next one is AWS Systems Manager, Application Manager. With the Application Manager, AWS has announced is a new capability in AWS Systems Manager to enable customers to manage their applications from a single console. This new capability enables the developers and the operators to discover their applications, view operational data, and perform actions within the context of an application. And hence, it helps DevOps engineers investigate and remediate issues with their AWS resources in the context of their applications. You can use existing mechanisms such as tagging, resource groups, and AWS CloudFormation stacks that you normally do with the resource groups to discover an application within the AWS Systems Manager, Application Manager. But with also Application Manager, customers can now discover applications across multiple AWS services like CloudFormation stacks, resource groups, EKS clusters, and AWS Launch Wizard. So, and after discovering your applications, user can view the operational and compliance data like alarms, operational issues, and logs for their applications aggregated from different AWS services. It is integrated with multiple AWS services like CloudWatch for monitoring, CloudTrail for auditing, AWS Config for tracking infrastructure configuration changes, and other AWS Systems Manager features such as runbook automations. So with Application Manager, it also includes the automation runbooks for remediating common issues using a single console rather than you have to go through different services consoles to do that. And customers can directly choose a resource in the Application Manager, and then you can choose a runbook also to perform a diagnostic or a remediation task. It also enables you to view the operational data and CloudWatch alarms and take action on your existing container clusters in Amazon EKS environments. Ability to manage resources being used by ECS clusters is coming early next year in AWS Systems Manager. Next, the next new update is around AWS Proton, which is currently in the preview mode. Since maintaining hundreds or sometimes thousands of microservices with constantly changing infrastructure resources and CI/CD configurations is a nearly impossible task for even most of the capable platform teams. And AWS Proton solves this by giving platform teams the tools needed to manage this complexity while fastening the dev process. Hence, AWS Proton is the first fully managed application deployment service for container and serverless applications. Platform teams can use Proton to connect and coordinate all the different tools needed for infrastructure provisioning, code deployment, monitoring, and updates. Proton also enables platform teams to give devs an easy way to deploy their code using containers and serverless technologies, using the different management tools, governance, and visibility needed to ensure consistent standards and best practices. So how does Proton works? In Proton, platform teams first uses Proton to create a stack that is presented as a reusable version control template to their developers. And then developers log into the Proton console to use the published Proton stacks to automate infrastructure provisioning and quickly deploy their application code. AWS Proton provides visibility to the general status of your application, including stacks in use and stack health status. And thus, instead of spending hours setting up infrastructure for every dev team, platform or operations teams centrally manage deployments without impacting their productivity. When any part of the stack needs updating, the platform team can do that using the Proton to deploy the updates. So this was all about the Proton, and moving on, we have a new Amazon managed service for Prometheus. Many of you must already be familiar with Prometheus, but now it's provided by Amazon as a managed service, which is also currently in the preview mode. Amazon Managed Service for Prometheus is a fully managed Prometheus-compatible monitoring and alerting service, and it makes it easy to monitor the containerized applications securely and at scale. Amazon Managed Service, commonly known as AMP, it reduces the heavy lifting required to get started with monitoring applications across Amazon EKS and Amazon ECS, as well as self-managed Kubernetes clusters. AMP is, so you must be all aware of Prometheus. Prometheus is a popular open source monitoring and alerting solution that is optimized for container environments. With Amazon Managed Service for Prometheus, you can use the same open source Prometheus data model and query language as you do today to monitor the performance of your containerized workloads. And along with that, you can enjoy improved scalability, availability, and security without having to manage the underlying infrastructure. AMP automatically scales the ingestion, storage, and querying of operational metrics. And it is also integrated with the different AWS security services such as AWS IAM, Private Link, and AWS CloudTrail to enable fast and secure access to data. AMP integrates with AWS IAM for authentication and permissions, VPC Private Link for easy and secure access to the services hosted on AWS. Plus, it also supports other AWS native capabilities like policy control and logging of API calls. Next is Amazon Managed Service for Grafana. And You must all be also familiar with Grafana. So Grafana is a uh, already provided an open source tool. So now in partnership with Grafana Labs, AWS announced Amazon Managed Service for Grafana, and it provides you powerful and interactive data visualizations that makes it easy for developers, operators, and business leaders to get insight into their application behavior. It is based on the open source Grafana project, which is a widely data visualization tool popular for its extensible data source support. With Amazon Managed Service for Grafana, you can run Grafana easily and securely at scale. Amazon Managed Service for Grafana provides you an intuitive resource discovery experience to help you easily onboard your AWS accounts across multiple regions and securely access the different AWS services such as Amazon CloudWatch, AWS X-Ray, Amazon Elasticsearch Service, Amazon TimeStream, AWS IoT Sitewise, and Amazon Managed Service for Prometheus. It also comes with interactive data visualization capabilities and pre-built dashboards that you can simply use to analyze and monitor the metrics, logs, and traces across multiple data sources, including AWS, third-party ISVs, databases, and other resources across your IT portfolio. Amazon Managed Service for Grafana extends the power of Grafana further by managing the provisioning, setup, scaling, and maintenance of Grafana, which eliminates the need for you to this by yourself. You can also benefit from the built-in security features like single sign-on to control who gets to access and which particular user, and which are the dashboards that you can give the access to your users in your organization. And you can also audit the logs of what changes were made to Grafana for the compliance reasons. The next we are going to talk about AWS Fault Injection Simulator, and it's a lot of interest by different organizations on this. So another key area that we are helping to build resilient applications and high performing applications. So for example, suppose you don't stress your application, you won't know where it breaks. You all must have heard of chaos engineering that subjects infrastructure to failures in order to find the weak spots that would be difficult to find any other way. And this is not a new idea. It's have been presented by Netflix at reInvent before, but it was not available to all the customers because of the cost, complexity, and the knowledge required to implement it. Since we use it so extensively at Amazon and find incredible value in it, we want to make sure the chaos engineering is available to everyone. So that is the reason AWS is introducing AWS Fault Injection Simulator. It is a fully managed chaos engineering service, and it makes it easier for teams to discover an application's weakness at scale in order to improve the performance, observability, and resiliency. It starts with analyzing the steady state behavior, building an experiment hypothesis, executing the experiment by injecting the fault actions, monitoring and rollback conditions, and thus addressing the weaknesses. So AWS Fault Injection Simulator supports creating disruptive events across a range of AWS services, such as Amazon EC2, Amazon EKS, Amazon ECS, and Amazon RDS. Teams can also run game day scenarios or stress their most critical applications on AWS at scale, helping them to ensure that their application will behave as expected. Many action times do not require any specific agents to be installed in your resources. However, when you do the instance level faults, including increased CPU utilization and memory utilization, you might need the SSM agent to do that. Thus, AWS Fault Injection Simulator helps team to run and observe their experiments from end to end to find their monitoring blind spots, performance bottlenecks, or other unknown weaknesses which are missed by the traditional software test. It provides you the pre-built templates that enables teams to set up and run the experiments in minutes. With also using AWS Fault Injection Simulator, different teams can take actions such as gradually or instantaneously imparting the performance of different resources in a production environment at scale, enabling them to better validate their application behavior and find the weaknesses and then work on those weaknesses. And the most important thing that is you can deliver this fault injection experience from a single console. Thus, it eliminates the need for you to manage complex tooling. It provides you the fine-grained controls that team needs to define the specific conditions under which they want to stop an experiment or roll back to the pre-experiment state. So this was all around the management section, and now we'll pass it on to the cost management, where we have introduced the AWS cost anomaly detection. Many of you must have been already using the cost anomaly detection, but just to reiterate, cost anomaly detection helps you to detect and alert on any abnormal or sudden spend increases in your AWS account. And this is possible by using machine learning to understand your spend patterns and pre-gauge alert as they seem abnormal. Cost anomaly detection allows you to segment your spend by different dimensions, such as services, linked accounts, cost allocation tags, and cost categories. This segmentation allows anomaly detection to detect more granular anomalies and customize the alerting preferences. So it helps you to save time on investigating the spend anomalies by receiving automated root cause analysis and pinpointing the potential cost drivers such as usage type, specific AWS service, region, and member accounts. So stay informed of your spend anomalies through automated detection alert, which can be sent to you via an email or an SNS topic at the frequency of your choice, which can be a daily summary or a weekly summary or an individual alert also. Moving on to the security, identity, and compliance section, we have announced AWS Audit Manager. So today audits involve periodic and manual assessments of your policies, procedures, and activities. This complex compliance and regulatory environment can make it difficult to map your AWS usage to your control requirements. And during an audit, you have to enlist the IT and the line of business employees to spend a lot of time gathering sufficient evidence such as resource configuration screenshots, log files, etc., which makes it a big headache for the different employees working in the organization. Thus, AWS Audit Manager, which helps you to continuously audit your AWS usage, and it simplifies how you access the risk and compliance with regulations and industry standards. Audit Manager automates the evidence collection to make it easier to assess if your policies, procedures, and activities, which are also known as controls, are either operating effectively or not. And Audit Manager pre-built frameworks helps map your AWS resources to the requirements in industry standards or regulations such as CIS, AWS Foundation Benchmark, or GDPR, and also the payment industry data security standards. And you can still fully customize a framework and its controls to help meet your unique business requirements. And based on the frameworks that you select within the Audit Manager, it will launch an assessment that will continuously collect and organize reInvent evidence from your AWS accounts and resources. With Audit Manager, you can access your controls regularly to reduce risk and simplify compliance and be continually prepared to produce audit-ready reports with much less manual effort. Thus, Audit Manager stores evidence in its own managed storage repository with read-only permissions to your end users. Audit Manager is a regional service. This ensures all the evidence collected is regionally based and doesn't cross the AWS regional boundaries. With that, we'll move to the last section in the management reInvent recap, which is sustainability. So I'm going to give you an update on AWS path to 100% renewable energy, but the greenest energy is the energy that we don't use. And that's why AWS has been and remains laser focused on improving efficiency in every part of our infrastructure. From the highly available infrastructure that powers our servers to techniques that we use to cool our data centers and to the innovative server designs that we provide to our customers, energy efficiency is a key goal of every part of our global infrastructure. And thus, let's see how it is helping to meet our renewable energy goals. We will be talking about Gravitation 2, and Jerry will take you through that. And you will see it is one of the most power efficient processors. Gravitation 2 processors provide you 2 to 3.5 times better performance per watt than any other EC2 processor. And this is a remarkable improvement in the power efficiency. With the world's increasing need for compute and other IT infrastructure, innovations like this will be critical to assure that we can sustainably power the workloads of the future. Thus, AWS scale and focus on innovation allow us to improve efficiency faster than the traditional enterprise data centers. So according to a study that has been conducted by 451 research team, infrastructure that AWS operates is 3.6 times more energy efficient than the median of surveyed US enterprise data centers. And this study was based on infrastructure before the innovation around gravitation processor I just talked about. So this is only going to improve, and this has been improving since last year. And when you combine AWS continued focus on efficiency with our renewable energy progress, customers can achieve up to 88% reduction in their carbon emissions compared to using an enterprise data center, which is a remarkable achievement by AWS. Amazon's renewable energy procurement in 2020 is the largest by a corporation in a year, and it exceeded the previous record by 50%. And it is also a 300% increase over the projects we have announced in 2019. And this progress is a big part of why we now believe at AWS that we are on track to hit our 100% renewable energy goals by 2025. And this is 5 years ahead of our initial target of 2030. And thus we are raising the bar in that. I will end this today with this exciting fact that, as I mentioned earlier, Amazon has announced over 6.5 gigawatt of new renewable energy, with only 4.2 coming in this 2020 itself. And as we know this, it makes Amazon the largest corporate procurer of renewable energy in the world. And I'm really proud to say that. And as we like to say at Amazon, it's still day one. So with that, I would like to end the management section and pass it on to Murray. Over to you, Murray.
Thanks, Rishi. Now, for those that may have missed it earlier due to some audio issues, we do have 2 questions today for the management section. So we're going to program inside the classes to get an Amazon $50 voucher. So which AWS service can centrally audit operation changes across your organization? Is it A, and by the way, answer the question into the chat. A, Audit Manager, B, AWS Systems Manager, Application Manager, AWS Systems Manager, Fleet Manager, AWS Systems Manager, Change Manager. Just keeping an eye on the chat there. So can anyone answer that? Just keep an eye on the chat. No A. Good try, Pab 10s, but try again. D, yes, correct. So we have a winner. Well done. All right, moving on to the second question. Customers can achieve up to A or and what percentage reduction in carbon emissions compared to using an enterprise data center? Is it A, 8%, B, 78%, C, 88%, or D, 98%? C, correct. Oh, that was a close one. Xperia, you are the winner. Well done, everyone. All right, we'll move on now to Jerry Chen, Technical Account Manager, also based here in Melbourne, to talk to the infrastructure side of the recap. Over to you, Jerry.
Thanks, Murray. That's fantastic. Hi, everyone. I'm Jerry Chen. I'm Technical Account Manager from AWS. Today, I'm going to focus on the infrastructure side of the reInvent update. So before I jump into the details, I will turn off my camera so you can focus more on the slides. As you know, in the reInvent 2020, AWS has made tons of progress in the cloud infrastructure, including data center, highly redundant and renewable power supply, physical compute, storage, networking, etc. Now let's focus on the infrastructure updates that are most relevant to the IT manager's role, and we will take a look at the compute update. For the compute update, it covers the new instance types and AWS Outposts. We asked a question for what's the first cloud service that people start to use. Potentially, you will answer the question like me, that is ECS instance. Yeah, since 2006, AWS has been improving the performance and features of EC2 instance and making it more cost-effective so more customers can benefit from the wider adoption of those latest EC2 instance type. For example, now, AWS ships EC2 P4d instances that deliver the highest performance for machine learning, training, and high-performance computing application in the cloud with amazing networking performance, up to 400 gigabit per second. Amazon INF1 instance provides the most powerful ML inference capability with up to 30% higher throughput and up to 45% lower cost per inference than Amazon EC2 G4 instances. Also, we've got the largest high memory instances for SAP with 24 terabyte memory. Beyond that, we are offering various types of CPU, including Intel, AMD, ARM processors to boost the different use cases for our customers. Next, we'll take a look at some major EC2 instance update in more details. First is the Amazon EC2 C6gn instances, powered by the ARM-based AWS Grafana 2 processors and featuring up to 100 gigabit per second network bandwidth and are generally available now. C6gn instances deliver up to 40% better price performance over C5n instances for applications requiring high networking bandwidth, such as high-performance computing, network appliances, data lakes, and data analytics. Next would be the EC2 M5zn instance. The EC2 M5zn instances are powered by the fastest Intel Xeon scalable processors in the cloud, with an all-core turbo frequency up to 4.5 gigahertz. Additionally, M5zn instances feature 100 gigabit per second networking and Amazon Elastic Fabric adapter, and are ideal for computationally and network-intensive applications. While Amazon EC2 D3 and D3n instances provide cost-effective, high capability, low cost of the storage per vCPU for massively scaled storage workloads, D3 and D3n instances are the next generation of dense HDD storage instances, offering up to 30% higher processor performance, increase the capacity, and reduce the cost compared to the D2 instances. So you can consider using D3, D3n instance types if your workload requires large volume of the instance storage and high performance processing capability. Next will be the EC2 R5b instances, which is a new member in the R5 instance family. It is powered by the AWS Nitro system to provide the best network-attached storage performance available on EC2. And this new instance offers up to 3 times EBS performance compared to the same instance types. And as you can see, we can offer the better price and performance ratio for our previous generation of the instance. And a broad range of the workloads, such as relational and non-relational database, enterprise applications, containerized applications, big data, analytics engines, file systems, media workflows are widely deployed on Amazon EBS. So if you have a similar workload requirement, you can consider the R5b instance type. So you may ask, what about for graphics intensive workload? Amazon EC2 G4ad instance provides the best price performance for graphics intensive application in the cloud. G4ad instances are powered by AMD Radeon Pro V520 GPUs and second generation's AMD EPYC processors, provides up to 45% better price performance over G4dn instances for the graphics intensive applications, such as virtual workstations, game streamings, and graphics rendering. If you have a similar workload requirements, then you can consider test the G4ad instance type to prepare for its GA in the Sydney region. For the machine learning instance type, another exciting announcement is that via collaboration with Intel, we will power the EC2 instances with Intel Deep Learning Accelerator chips named Habana Gaudi. Habana is a custom-designed chip for accelerating training of deep learning models, as opposed to the GPUs which are designed to support a wide range of workloads. EC2 instances featured these accelerators would deliver up to 40% low cost to train deep learning models over current GPU-based EC2 instances. Habana will allow customers to iterate and train models more frequently and bring new innovation to the market quickly. The new Habana-based EC2 instances will be available in 2021, supporting common ML frameworks like TensorFlow and PyTorch. So definitely great news for the machine learning big fans. We're also continuing to invest in our silicon innovation to drive down the cost of ML training. AWS Trainium is the first AWS designed chip that we are building specifically to provide the most cost-effective machine learning training in the cloud. Trainium-based instances will offer the most TFLOPS compute power than any other machine learning instance in the cloud. Trainium-based instances will use the same neural SDK as inferential instances for ML inference, making it easy for the developers using inferential to getting started with Trainium quickly. Another exciting announcement is Amazon EC2 Mac instance. It enables the customers to run on-demand Mac OS workloads in the cloud for the first time, extending the flexibility, scalability, and cost benefit of AWS to all Apple developers. With EC2 Mac instances, developers are creating apps for iPhone, iPad, Mac, Apple Watch, and Apple TV, as well as the Safari, can provision and access Mac OS environments within minutes, dynamically scale capacity as needed, and benefit from AWS pay-as-you-go pricing. Powered by AWS Nitro system, EC2 Mac instances are built on Apple Mac Mini computers featuring Intel Core i7 processors. Or you can easily use EC2 Mac instances together with AWS services and features like Amazon Virtual Private Cloud or the VPC for network security, Amazon EBS for the expandable storage. So great news for the Apple developers who are looking for on-demand Mac instance provision on the cloud. You can start using the Mac instances in the US East, US West, Europe, Ireland, and Asia Pacific Singapore regions today. And it's coming soon to the Sydney region. Now let's switch to the AWS Outposts update. In last December, AWS introduced two new sizes of AWS Outposts, suitable for locations such as branch offices, factories, retail stores, hospitals, and cell sites that are space constrained and need access to low latency compute capacity. The 1U Outpost server will be equipped with AWS Graviton2 processors. The 2U Outpost server will be equipped with Intel processors. Both sizes will be able to run EC2, ECS, and EKS workloads locally, operationed and managed by AWS. So customers have migrated applications components to AWS region or are considering cloud migration, but bear with a high management overhead and operational complexity to deploy to both the cloud and on-premise workloads. Today, these customers bear overhead to deploy DIY edge solutions, integrating commodity hardware servers, virtualization layers, and the networking solutions. Application and security updates takes months to deploy because of the heterogeneous platforms across the sites that require downtime for updates. With Outpost servers, customer can use a single set of the AWS interfaces, deployment of and management tools, and a simple DIY install and repair model to reduce the overhead and streamline operations. This Outpost update further takes undifferentiated heavy lifting away from our customers who wanted to run their workload on-premise, while being able to benefit from AWS innovations and the relevant services. So the above is the update for the EC2 instance and Outpost. Now let's take a quick look for the containers, where we would look at the updates for ECS and EKS. In 2015, AWS released Amazon ECS, our first managed container orchestration service. And we didn't stop there. AWS continues to invest heavily in making container adoption easier for our customers by consistently adding new features and capabilities. We offer a wide range of fully managed container services, including Amazon Elastic Kubernetes Service, the EKS, and AWS Fargate. AWS handles operations, availability, patching, scalability, and security of the underlying infrastructure. And this service reduces the time you spend on resource management, maintenance, and capacity planning, letting you focus on increasing your efficiency and speed of delivery. Now, AWS is the first place for you to run the containers, and over 80% of all containers in the cloud run on AWS. You can expect more container services and features will come into place to help you deliver more business outcomes. So for the Amazon ECS Anywhere, in last year, customers have asked for more flexibility in where they could deploy containers using Amazon ECS. They had an increasing number of use cases that required applications to run outside of the AWS regions and closer to their other services, wherever they are located. Customers love the simplicity of the Amazon ECS and the fact that it just works. However, the deployment requires may go beyond AWS-owned infrastructure, and they can't afford to use different container management technologies for different deployment targets. Amazon Elastic Container Service, or the ECS, Anywhere, is a capability in Amazon ECS that enable our customers to easily run and manage container-based applications on premises, including on virtual machines, bare metal servers, and other customer-managed infrastructure with the same ECS APIs. With this announcement, customers will now be able to use ECS on any compute infrastructure, whether in AWS regions, AWS local zones, AWS wavelength, AWS Outposts, or in any on-premise environment, without installing or operating container orchestration software. So definitely great news for the ECS customers. Another great announcement is the EKS Anywhere. The Amazon EKS Anywhere is a new deployment option for Amazon EKS that enables you to easily create and operate Kubernetes clusters on premises, including on your own virtual machines and bare metal servers. EKS Anywhere provides an installable software package for creating and operating Kubernetes clusters on-premise and automation tooling for cluster lifecycle support. EKS Anywhere creates clusters based on Amazon EKS distro, the same Kubernetes distribution used by EKS for clusters on AWS. EKS Anywhere enables you to automate the cluster management, reduce support cost, and eliminate the redundant effort of using multiple tools for operating Kubernetes clusters. EKS Anywhere is fully supported by AWS. In addition, you can leverage the EKS console to view all your Kubernetes clusters running anywhere. So with the ECS and EKS Anywhere update, now you have more flexibility using your container orchestration and management platform in the environment of your choice. Now let's switch to the storage update. AWS has continually innovated to ensure our storage offerings have the broadest set of the capabilities, price points, performance options that our customers want. AWS offers a complete range of the services for you to store, access, govern, and analyze your data to reduce the cost, increase agility, and accelerate innovation. And this ranges from object storage, file storage, and block storage services, backup and data migration options to build the foundation of your cloud IT environment. A very exciting update and announcement is for the EBS GB3 volumes. So to set the context, we think that the block storage is foundational and it's different from other types of storage. Block storage doesn't use metadata to store and retrieve the data like object storage. It doesn't need to read or write an entire file during each transaction. And the read and write times for the block storage are really fast. EBS volumes are attached to your EC2 instances, which means they persist the data independently from the lifecycle of your instance. We launched GP2 in 2014, and it quickly became our most popular volume type. Customers love the simplicity of buying storage capacity and getting throughput and IOPS bundled with it, but don't like how you had to buy more storage to get more performance. It means that customers were paying for more storage than they needed in order to get the performance they wanted. We wanted to create a way to decouple the IOPS performance from storage capacity, so we are pleased to launch these GP3 volumes. GP3 volumes are next generation general purpose volumes that deliver up to 4 times higher peak throughput than the GP3, and now include a baseline performance of 3000 IOPS for each volume. If you find with your storage capacity but need more performance to go with it, so you can try the GP3. You simply right-click in the console and modify the volume to provision the IOPS or throughput you need without having to add more storage capacity. That means customers can save cost by provisioning only the IOPS, throughput, or storage they need. And we reduce the price per GB of GP3 storage by up to 20%. So definitely worth to look at least at the latest EBS GP3 volume for your new and existing workloads. Another exciting announcement is the EBS IO2 Block Express. Customers have moved some of their most demanding applications to EBS provision IOPS, but there are still applications that even IO2 can't support without having to combine multiple volumes together. While it's possible to do it, it adds a management overhead. To run very high performance applications on premises, customers have historically relied on SAN, but as you know, SANs are expensive with high upfront cost regardless of your utilization. The minute you exceed the capacity, there's another high fixed cost. Also, SANs are hard to manage yourself. You have to update the hardware and software as SANs reach their end of life. Upgrading can be very disruptive. You also have to make them fault tolerant across multiple data centers, which drives up the data center overall cost. So customers don't like to manage these SANs or be forced to keep them on premises, but have felt like they have no choice because there isn't block storage with the performance of SAN in the cloud. Well, we're excited to announce this IO2 Block Express, the first SAN built for the cloud. IO2 Block Express is a feature in preview for IO2 volume users. It increases the performance of your IO2 volume by 4 times across your performance dimensions. This means you can now run your most demanding IO-intensive workloads in the cloud, including mission-critical deployment of Oracle, SAP HANA, Microsoft SQL applications that today you run on the SAN on-premise. Whereas before you might have to stripe multiple IO2 volumes together to get a maximum performance, IO2 Block Express significantly increased the performance of a single IO2 volume. You can now get 4 times of the IOPS, which is up to 250K, and throughput up to 4,000 megabytes per second, and capacity up to 64 terabyte of IO2 in a single volume. 4 times better at the same price. IO2 Block Express gives you the performance of a SAN in the cloud without all the headaches. In the coming months, we plan to release support for additional SAN features, including multi-attach, IO fencing, faster snapshot restore, and elastic volumes. So please keep track of these upcoming features of the IO2 block. Another great news for the platform team and operation team is the S3 storage lanes. Amazon S3 storage lane is a new capability on Amazon S3 that provides organizational-wide visibility into the object storage usage. For example, data lake customers use the Amazon S3 to store large shared data sets across tens to hundreds of accounts and buckets, multiple regions, and thousands of prefixes. Customers used to develop custom applications to aggregate data from different places in order to manage, report, and optimize their storage. To address this challenge, Amazon S3 Storage Lens is the first cloud storage analytics solution to provide a single view of object storage usage and activity across tens to hundreds of accounts in an organization. So this can provide you the drill downs to generate insight at the account level, at the bucket, or even at the prefix level. Amazon S3 Storage Lens provides a dashboard with more than 30 usage and activity metrics to show the storage usage and activities trends, with recommendations for data protection and cost efficiency. Another great news for customers who store the object storage across multiple regions is the S3 replication multi-destination. Customers use S3 replication today would create a replica copy of the data within the same AWS region or across different AWS regions for backups, compliance requirement, or for low latency performance for multiple region applications. Some customers also need to replicate the data to multiple destinations to meet data sovereignty requirement or to support collaboration between geographically distributed teams. To address all these requirements, we announced the Amazon S3 replication multi-destination, which allows our customers to replicate data to multiple buckets within the same AWS region, across multiple AWS regions, or a combination of both. So you no longer need to develop your own solution for these use cases. S3 replication multi-destination gives our customers an even simpler and flexible solution to meet the data compliance and residency requirements. It becomes simpler to build a data protection and backup plan. Now with one replication rule, you can create 2 to 3 copies of your data in multiple regions. S3 replication multi-destination also enables our customers to reduce storage cost by replicating objects to a low-priced storage class. So you can consider this feature for further cost optimization for your S3 storage. So just now, we spent some time on the storage update. Now let's switch to the database. So first one is the Aurora Serverless v2. Amazon Serverless Aurora v2 is in preview now, which can scale database workloads from hundreds to hundreds of thousands of transactions in a fraction of a second. Instead of doubling capacity every time a database workload needs to scale, Aurora Serverless v2 adjusts the capacity in fine-grained increments to provide just the right amount of database resources that the application needs. Customers only pay for the capacity they consume and can save up to 90% of their database cost when compared to the cost of provisioning capacity for the peak load. Aurora Serverless v2 also provides the full breadth of Aurora's capabilities, including multi-AZ support, global database, which allows a single Aurora database to span multiple AWS regions for lower latency, read replicates, backtrack, which essentially is an undo button for DBAs to reset Aurora to a specific point in time, and parallel query, which is a fast analytical queries against the data in Aurora. So all these features now makes Aurora Serverless an ideal option for a much broader set of applications. Aurora Serverless v2 is available in preview today for the MySQL compatible edition of Amazon Aurora. Postgres will be available in preview soon. Another one is Babelfish. Babelfish for Amazon Aurora PostgreSQL is a new translation layer for Amazon Aurora PostgreSQL that enables Aurora to understand queries from applications written in Microsoft SQL Server. With the Babelfish, applications currently running on SQL Server can now run directly on Aurora Postgres with little to no code changes. Babelfish understands the SQL Server wire protocol and TSQL, Microsoft SQL Server's query language. So you don't have to switch the database drivers or rewrite all of your application's queries. Once you are done with your application testing, you can shut down that SQL Server database and stop paying for licenses you don't need to. This can save months to years of time, typically spent updating legacy application code to work with the new database. With Babel, customers and ISVs who had to suffer the price increase for SQL Server because of arbitrary licensing changes can break free and enjoy all the benefit of an open source world. So definitely great news for those customers. Okay, next update would be for the end user computing. And the most significant one is the WorkSpaces streaming protocol. The Amazon WorkSpaces streaming protocol, or the WSP, is now generally available. The WSP is a cloud-native streaming protocol that enables a consistent user experience when accessing your workspaces across global distances and unreliable networks. WSP also enables additional features such as a common access card or personal identity verification and video camera support. On Windows client, the CAC PIV Smart Card support enables access to protected applications from within a WorkSpaces instance or for authenticating into a WorkSpaces instance. So the video camera support enables the Mac and Windows client to use their video conferencing applications of choice within the WorkSpaces. So last but not least is our networking update. Let's take a look at that. First one is the AWS Gateway Load Balancer. AWS Gateway Load Balancer takes on the load balancing and scaling of third-party virtual appliances, ensuring high availability and resiliency without asking you to give up your preferred appliance vendors. It reduces your overhead by providing one gateway for routing traffic through the fleets of virtual appliances. You can easily deploy appliances from leading vendors from the AWS Marketplace, and they will automatically scale to keep up with demand. And by ensuring the traffic is only routed to healthy appliances, Gateway Load Balancer increases the availability of your applications and workloads. This can create a simple and streamlined network design with fewer moving parts to manage. You can continue to work with vendors you rely on today, or find something new, while Gateway Load Balancer helps reduce the operational overhead and cost. Another exciting announcement is the AWS Network Firewall. It is a managed service that makes it easy to deploy essential network protections for all of your Amazon Virtual Private Cloud, or the VPCs. The service can be set up with just a few clicks and scales automatically with your network traffic, so you don't have to worry about deploying and managing any infrastructure. AWS Network Firewall's flexible rules engines enables you to define the firewall rules that give you fine-grained control over the network traffic. You can also import rules you've already written in common open source rules formats, as well as enable the integration with managed intelligence feeds sourced by AWS partners. AWS Network Firewall works together with the AWS Firewall Manager, so you can build policies based on AWS Network Firewall rules and then centrally apply those policies across your VPCs and accounts. So this is the end of the IT infrastructure part of the reInvent update. Please post in the chat window if you have more questions around this. Now I would hand it over to my colleague Murray to ask 2 questions for the quiz. Thank you.
Thanks, Jerry. So the next question related to infrastructure is, what chip will power the machine learning instance type? Is it A, Habana Gaudi, B, Habana Gaudi, C, Cabana Gaudi, or D, Cabana Gaudi? So you can be quick on the trigger. B, well done. Good job. I won't pronounce that because I'm not sure exactly how, but thanks for the quick answer. We'll move on to the next question. What is the first SAN built for the cloud for your most demanding workloads? Is it A, EBS GP3, B, EBS IoT, C, EBS IO2 Block Express, D, EBS ST1? So who's quick to go now? A good try. Not correct though, Father Goblin. The first SAN built for the cloud. C, correct, Godzilla, 121997. Good job. All right, well that brings the presentation to a close. Thank you very much for attending. As posted in the chat, there is a survey that we would love for you to complete so we can improve on our next experiences, your experiences. I'd also like to thank Jerry, Rishi, Angela, and Mustafa. And also note that there are 2 more recap sessions coming up, one for architects and one for developers. So if you haven't got the details of those, please do reach out to your TAM or account team. And we've also have had a session on Friday around data scientists personas. So again, reach out to your account teams. That is on the AWS Twitch for a replay, but if you can't find it, please do let us know. All right, thanks everyone for attending. Have a great day.